It is the seventh dhatu. As per
Recording in progress.
that MES idea is first the food is converted into juice, blood, muscle, fat, bone marrow. So up to bone, density increases. That is the idea. Then afterwards, from bone to bone marrow, density decreases. From the bone marrow, sexual vital fluid, and the sexual vital fluid is like a vapor actually. It is very close to the absolute space. So that is the idea. In Brahmajnana, we learnt from absolute space, divine dust particles are produced, and the association of divine dust particles becomes energy particle or life force particle. So here in the sexual vital fluid, the divine dust particles are produced and life force particles are produced. And the divine dust particles, we call it as a magnetism or biomagnetism. Very close to the absolute space, that is at the genetic center. Absolute space is there, and very close to it, sexual vital fluid as a vapor or a transparent fluid, very near, similar to the absolute space. There the divine dust particles and energy particles or life force particles are produced. So at the genetic center, more number of life force particles and more number of divine dust particles. So genetic center becomes the three centers. One is magnetic center, another one is center for life force particles, and another one center for the seeds. Well, the three centers are integrated into one center as a genetic center. So that is the idea of the life force particles. And all recordings or imprints are made in the magnetic domain at the genetic center. And not only in the biomagnetism, and in the life force particles also, imprints are recorded and stored. And the life force particles, generally we say it is recorded in the life force particles, but MER has still more explained the life force particles into 4 zones. So very near in the center only absolute space. From the center to the periphery of the life force particles, there are 4 zones. Very near to the center, delta region. Then next one is the theta region, then alpha region, then near to the periphery, beta waves region. So in the 4 zones, all our emotional state, we record all these things in beta wave. So beta wave near to the periphery. There the divine dust particles are density is less.
Yes,
Loosely,
Aya, Rajamohan, sorry to interrupt. Last week, Aya started with where is the genetic center it is getting registered, since all are getting into registered into brain. So how it is getting into a genetic center, that discussion we just stopped at the end.
brain, what is the difference between brain and genetic center? Functioning
Yeah.
of the brain, genetic center, where it is recorded. Is it in the brain or is it in the genetic center? So that clarity, the question rises last week. See, brain
Thoughts
is
on that? Anyone has any thoughts on that? How the brain and genetic center, how it is related? You can add on with Raja Mohani's thoughts. Raja Mohaniya, do you have that clarity? I'm not able to get that clarity between the brain and the genetic center. Yeah.
The brain, there is forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. The three regions are there. All our sense experiences, the five senses experiences, pressure, sound, light, smell, taste, all these five senses are recorded in the front region of the brain, forebrain actually. So there is five areas are identified. In there it is recorded first initially. Yeah. From there, our experiences from the senses, or waves coming from the through the senses, or optical nerve or audio nerve, all are connected to the brain, the front area. There it is converted to dots or magnetic dots or knots. Then it is carried by the biomagnetic wave to the genetic center. So here what is recorded in the brain is a RAM. In computer we
So
say
it
RAM.
is registering into genetic center. It's not.
Finally,
it is not the end point. The brain is not the end point for the registration of imprints.
Genetic center. Earlier also, Maharishi was telling it is it fingers when you type ASBF. And there also in the fingers also it is recorded. Then in the organs, is in the brain. Then in the genetic center. Like that he was telling in 4 places. Finally he said all are recorded only in the magnetism. That is only in the genetic center. Finally it goes to the genetic center and there only it is stored. And that is the imprints or knots. That domain is called the soul. So once we asked what is the difference between soul and the genetic center? So genetic center is the location at the end of the spinal cord, where there are 3 centers are combined together. One is seed center.
Sorry to disturb you one more time. Yeah, sorry. Here I have a question. If Alzheimer patients, right, if they are forgetting everything, Alzheimer is mostly with the brain related disease. If they are forgetting, further there is no imprints are in the activation of past, right? So in that case, this I am having a doubt how it is.
So the mind is connected between brain and the genetic center. So mind functions, brain is having some defect. Then it will not retrieve the information from the genetic center and bring into the brain as a thought presenting in a monitor, a display. So that portion is cut. So this is my idea, my understanding. We forget the past information. The patient doesn't know, doesn't remember all these things. So that retrieval is not possible there. So that is the problem. But informations are stored in the genetic center. Brain in that area which retrieves the information is not working properly. I think this is my understanding. Any medical profession doctors can explain in detail.
Sudhantra Devyama, any thoughts on this? Thank you, Gaya. Yeah, Rajamohan, thanks. Sudhantra Devyama, any thoughts, ma? Do you have any thoughts on this? Dr. Anandaya.
Thank you, Amma. Vaalakolamudan. I almost agree with what Aya is just trying to explain. So we can understand this by using something like the modern computer. Say, for example, in your computer, you're reading a page. Say, for example, Unbully journal or something is going on and you are reading the journal. So your computer has a display, a computer has a hard drive. From the hard drive, the Unbully journal, that particular web page or PDF is opened, and the display of the computer is displaying it for you to read. Just by using the computer's keyboard, by using the down arrow or up arrow, you can scroll through the pages. So our body works like this. We have our hard drive, which is the genetic center, which has got all the informations like years and years of Unbully journal, etc. But the thing which brings it to our thought, that is the function of the brain. So the brain is the one which displays that Unbully journal at that particular point. And maybe after 15 minutes, it can display a YouTube video. After 15 minutes, it can display a news channel. So the brain can display various things at various points. In Alzheimer's disease, what exactly happens is the display part is gone wrong. So in your computer, as you are reading the Unbully journal, just think that you are switching off only the display of your computer. By there is a power switch for the computer display. So you're switching off only the display. And if you are moving the up and down arrow, still the pages are scrolling behind, but you can't interpret. So similarly, for people with Alzheimer's disease, the genetic center is still intact, and that's why they will have karma. If they do anything new, they will still register, and they will take that karma to the next generation or next rebirth, depending upon the individual's belief. But unfortunately, the brain is not there to interpret what is there in the genetic center to give them that recollection of what happened in the past. It is more
So
of
incoming will happen, but outgoing will not happen.
yes, the incoming means it's genetic center to outside, that recollection of the past, recollection of the school, college days, previous experiences will be all live. But unfortunately, the brain can't interpret because the connections are not there. And connections are filled with amyloid plaques, which blocks the brain's nerve functionality. This is how it works.
Okay, Neha. So we can conclude that it is registering in genetic center. Is that right? So we have genetic center where the registration is happening. It's not only staying up to the brain cells.
The genetic center is the only nomenclature what we are giving. So maybe a person from a different belief can give it in a different nomenclature. Like they may say like there is a part of Akashic record in the soul where everything is recorded. But genetic center, the name is quite self-explanatory and it serves the purpose. So that's why we are naming it like that. And Dr. M.V.R. Raya clearly mentioned genetic center is present in all the cells. It is present in all the three bodies of physical body and then the Akashic body and also the causal body. That's what we've discussed. So this is the place where the previous records were saved, and by the magnetic knots our new deeds will be recorded, and good karmas will lead to good and bad karmas will lead to bad. And brain is a conduit through which you can interpret what is happening. So for example, if a person had a very bad event in the past, like they may have lost one of the close relative or something which may have happened even 10 years back, but using the brain they can take that particular file from the genetic center and feel bad suddenly. And when they feel bad, they really feel bad. They may weep, the heart may go for increased heart rate, they may feel very low, and it takes some time for them to come out of it. And then say for example, if somebody visits them, diverts their mind, and if they're able to come out of that lost in their life, maybe a relative or somebody like that, and then if they were taken out for a coffee shop and having a coffee, then the brain is not interpreting what is in the genetic center. The brain start interpreting what is happening around it by using the auditory and visual signs. They may start talking about the friend on a different topic and then enjoying the coffee, etc. Still in the genetic center, that loss of the relative, that particular magnetic knot is still alive, so they can bring out anytime. So what is depression? Depression is nothing but the bad magnetic knots have got having an upper hand in our day-to-day life, and the previous events are taking up more force compared to the good magnetic knots. That causes depression, and depression can even go to quite significant functional disorders or even organic disorders. If somebody has got multiple depressive episodes like failure in the life or in the job or academic circle or relatives, something like that, everything can super add. And it is like, for example, if you are using your mobile phone screen or a computer screen with a very flashy images and high definition, ultra high definition, the screen may get burnt on few areas. And if it get burnt, that particular area will not function anymore because that particular area of the screen got overused. So similarly, if a person has got multiple depressive episodes, etc., a particular part of the brain which literally got squeezed out of its efficiency by thinking a low depressive mode, because the low depressive modes really takes up lots of biomagnetism from us. Maharishi has got many hours of talk on how this Kavalai results in the loss of biomagnetism in the topic of Kavalai Odithal. And so that particular part of the brain may get burnt out, and that's another reason how a person may develop a kind of forgetfulness or old age related. It's not really Alzheimer's disease. Medically, Alzheimer's disease means it's physically amyloid plaques are getting deposited, resulting in no space for the nerves to regenerate, or amyloid plaques blocks the nerves to conduct from one place to another. So these are all the various ways by which our body functions, and that's how we are able to interpret the genetic center. So genetic center is the name. There is some entity which is definitely there, which we can understand very easily, and for the ease of understanding, we are giving it the term genetic center so that we can communicate more easily. Yeah, madam.
Thank you, Nia. Wonderful explanation. So, as my thought is, as Aya said, Rajamohan Iyer said, there are frequency areas where the delta frequency, theta frequency, alpha frequency, and beta frequency stays. So according to the region, our thoughts or whatever the imprints, what we have will stay. It's not only inside our genetic center, but also the same frequency is there in the cosmic also. Nas Maharishi also uh, informed that not only it is storing in genetic center, it is storing in one Gandham or cosmic region also. So it is matching to the frequency, whatever the actions, karmas that we are performing, according to the matching frequency, it will get registered in that area. So that wherever whoever is having the same frequency, it's reflecting to them also. It's even if it is inside of our genetic center, what we did, it's not only one person action, right? It's all linked. So that will reflect to not only our offsprings and also to others who are in the same frequency. So it's all like a frequency, the waves where it is, as Ananda has told, the genetic center where the intensity is getting reduced. And the genetic center, it is the point where it is in the place where it is not coming outside until we are into different, we are changing constantly, our frequency is changing. So it is getting inside of us somewhere else. That is what is the term, as a general term, as Dr. Anandaya said, it's a general term like genetic center, but it's a frequency matching area inside of us, even within ourselves. If that frequency is there, and what is related to that particular organ may affect. So as we are purifying our genetic center by meditation, we know our the chronic diseases also get cured slowly. So if anything inside of us, which is unwanted frequency or beta frequency or something, which is there inside, that we can say that by any of the organ related to the organ, it is higher frequencies obviously affect the heart, the blood circulation.
Yeah.
So by not knowing ourselves, it is related, the frequency will be there inside of us also, but it is not coming to our brain. It is not coming to our consciousness, but without our consciousness, if it is inside of us, will affect that particular organ automatically. Is that right? Can we say like that?
I will modify it slightly. So regarding this frequency, say for example, we know few things basics. Based upon the frequency, we name the frequency like beta, alpha, theta and delta, starting from higher frequency to lower frequency. At any point, a person can be only in one frequency. For example, if I'm meditating, depending upon my experience in meditating, I can be in alpha, theta or delta. We can't say beta as a meditative frequency because we know beta means walking around, looking into the park, enjoying the movie, because the beta frequency goes up to 40. So at any moment, in any second, in any instant, we can be in only one frequency, and one frequency belongs to one of these four frequencies. So how this frequency impacts our health or organs health is, say for example, if somebody is not in a meditative process, somebody is not in this sky program or something like that, they will be getting up in the morning. Sometimes they will get up early, sometimes they will get up late, so they may be running to the for example, I'm a doctor, so they will run to the clinic with a bit of a rush and seeing the patients, some challenging patients, some easy patients, some complaints coming in. So predominant of their waking period they are at quite high beta frequency, even 30, 40, and if they have to shout at someone, they may reach even 50. And once they come back, they think they are relaxing by drinking a coffee or seeing a movie, spending some time with the friends. Again, the frequency can go down maybe as low as maybe only 20, but still they are in the beta frequency. Only when they are trying to go sleep, end of the day, very tired because of all the events. Oh my God, this is a Monday. Always this Monday is quite busy for me. So when they go to the bed, slowly they are going from beta to alpha. And by the time they are going from beta to alpha, which is slightly a calm state, they go into sleep. Once they go into sleep, they have no control what frequency it's going to happen next, because during the sleep your consciousness is off. The consciousness means the consciousness which helps us to drive day-to-day activities, that part is off, and so the brain can take its own automatic mode. Brain, by the help of the dreams, can go even back to the beta frequency, and that's why sometimes people will get quite obnoxious dreams of devil running around, injuring, flight accident, etc. And they may even get up with night sweats and heart pounding, etc. So the same high beta frequency which happened in the daytime can absolutely replicate even the night. So this night sleep is not going to give a person a good regeneration, because the chances of reaching that absolute delta state is very difficult when the brain is left on its own autonomous mode. How the meditation works is, during the meditation, based upon an individual person's experience, initially they may be in an alpha state, which means like they were able to shut down the inputs from the eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. So all the 5 sense organs, which is the only way by which your body can get some stimulus from outside, is shut off. So the meditative room is usually relatively dark, you are closing your eyes, there is no noise, etc., etc. So once the inputs from the 5 senses were shut off, that itself will reduce the beta frequencies to the lowermost beta frequency. The only thing happening is the brain's going on thinking about that month budget, next shopping list, movie saw 1 week before, friends, relatives, etc. During that time, again, if somebody is not given anything like an instruction, they will just sit, close the eyes and start thinking one by one, one by one, one by one. This is just a low beta frequency. Even this can give some good effect to the body. It can give a little bit of relaxation, but it's not absolutely a good relaxation like how a meditation should be. So at that time, if somebody is practicing, say for example, Agna meditation, they were given something to do. Since the brain is given the object of focusing on the Agna, the brain's autonomous thinking about yesterday, past, future, etc. is shut down, and brain will start thinking about the Agna only. During the Agna meditation, we all know we are focusing on the point between both the eyebrows. And if you take in the same level, as you go back, you can see the joining of both the eyes nerves, optic chiasma, and then the hypophyseal pituitary system, and then the brainstem, and then the pineal gland, and then in the back we get the occipital region of the cerebrum, if you are interested in the science of the brain. So once a person focuses on the Agna and just tries, it will be a dark area once you close your eyes, and then just focusing on the Agna, again focusing on the Agna, again focusing on the Agna. If they do it or try to do it continuously, that's when the magic happens. The beta frequency becomes alpha, because there is nothing happening. If frequency is nothing but number of things happening per second. If you are in a frequency of beta 40, means it's like 40 things are happening simultaneously per second. If you are in a frequency of 20 per second, means 420 things are happening. So since the number of things happening per second is coming down, it becomes an alpha. And once you are in that alpha stage, even without your knowledge, a part of the frontal brain system will start thinking about your next day office. That's what happens in the meditation. You're supposed to do Agna meditation, but suddenly something will happen. At the time, since your instruction is to focus on the Agna, you can physically feel a thought which is from the outside of the cerebrum is traveling back to the Agna center. Those who are doing the Agna meditation with a bit of a focus, they can literally feel that, oh my goodness, I'm focusing on Agna. I know where is the point, and this thought has taken me few centimeters away into the frontal part of the brain or the cerebrum, the surface of the brain, and then I'm bringing it back. You can literally feel the nerve impulses happening and coming back to Agna. Once you come back to Agna, absolute silence, the bliss state. As you experience this seconds by seconds, minutes by minutes, slowly from the alpha, we are getting into theta, and you can go only up to theta. The delta should come to you because you can't go to delta. Delta is an absolute shutdown of the system. Say for example, I will take the computer as an example. You got a computer, an old computer, say for example, you are shutting down. Once you are shutting down, the display goes off. You can hear that fan running in the CPU. It slowly slows down and it goes off one by one. And it takes sometimes even 15 to 30 seconds for the computer to completely shut off. You can shut down your computer at one point, but it may take another 15 to 20 seconds for the actual computer to shut down because it's not in your hand. You have no control over it. The brain is like that. You can train your brain to be on low beta waves, alpha waves, and even theta waves if you are a good audacious practitioner. Once you are in the theta, that automatic shutdown of everything and becoming delta, which is the bliss state, should happen by its own. So that's why that is known as samadhi, and that delta samadhi should come to you. You can't travel towards you. You can aspire, you can try, you can work hard. Buck stops there. And once you are in the samadhi, as usual, you can be in the samadhi only in that instant. And that instant can go to the second instant, third second, fifth second. You can be there for maybe like 10 seconds or 10 minutes or 20 minutes, depending upon your experience and your efficiency and external factors not affecting you, etc. If somebody is very good on reaching the samadhi of delta, as we explained, you can only drive towards the delta and delta should comes to you. Similarly, somebody from external should be able to help you to drive you out from delta, because once you are in delta, you have no control over anything. You are in that absolute bliss state. That's why if you are really, really good in meditating and if you are in very good samadhi, it's always nice to do it in a place where the others can help you. Otherwise, if you are doing it in a closed room in your house, fortunately, our brain is not designed to reach the delta state easily. So that's why we are quite confidently shutting our room and doing an inside lock and going for meditation, because we are not good in reaching the delta. But if a person is so good in reaching delta, it's quite dangerous in the normal common words, because then that person can't wake up and he can go for samadhi forever. That's it. Somebody has to really break the door to get inside or something like that. So from delta, waking up is very, very difficult. For your question, Vijayalakshmi Amma, regarding the organs getting affected, once you train your body to the delta level or at least to theta level, slowly you are reducing the stirring action happening in your genetic center. So genetic center in beta wave is like a mixie. It just stirs and takes out the good and bad experiences and thoughts from 10 years back or even from the previous birth, etc., etc., etc. But once you are getting used to that theta, that genetic center's ability to take that old karmic records and bring it into the surface is slowly getting dwindled down. That's why a good practitioner will not have that high vibrations, and once the high vibrations are not there, the energy expenditure in the form of wastage of biomagnetism is not there, and once you are not wasting the biomagnetism will help to repair the cells from head to toe and keep yourself young, youthful, etc. etc. That's how a body's health can be absolutely cured from inside. The amyloid plaques will get dissolved, and the brain's efficiency in memory will become very good, and a person who is having a good in-depth meditation for longer hours day by day, in few years time will find a very youthful and very blissful happy life. This is the neurology and science behind the meditation of Agna meditation. வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Thank you, Anandaya. வாழ்க வளமுடன். Anyone else has any thoughts on this?
Good morning. Namaste.
Julia. Good morning, Julia.
All is very clear because wonderful explanation from Anandaji. But I want to confirm two things. One, I understand at the beginning, I came late, I'm so sorry, is in some occasion of depression or some, when one section area of the brain is down so many times, a genetic center get some damage. And then I understand that the frequency is possible to change with the meditation. Meditation is possible to cure. But this damage, when sometimes occur of genetic center, I want to confirm is also possible to improve, because it may be no damage, is reduced. And then it is possible to improve also with this meditation. That is the one question. And the second question is...
Can I answer the question before you go for the second one? Because it's an important question.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So again, very easy to explain. It is like, say for example, you are taking your car for the service. If you are taking a car to your garage and asking that person that make my car as best as possible, okay, I don't want any dent, I don't want any dirt, change the carpet, change the AC, refill the coolant system, everything, I don't bother about the money, do everything possible. So the garage person will do everything from headlight to tail light to everything. You may get a very big bill, but you're getting relatively a very nice shining car. Whatever happened, the car engine can't be changed in most of the time. I know there are some times we can even change the engine, but most of the time you will be still with the engine. So you can service and modify your car only to an as best as possible. So for your question, is it possible to repair the brain? Is it possible to repair the world related changes happened in your lungs and heart and pancreas, and somebody may be destined to have some cancer or somewhere? Yes, it is possible, but it depends upon how early you start. So somebody meditating, say from the age of 10, from the age of 14, they will be having absolutely 120, 150 years, full youthful life with no problem at all. But if somebody starting at 30 and 40, they may already got maybe some pre-diabetes or something like that. It's pretty easy to come out of the disease. If somebody starting at the age of 60, they are on single drug diabetes, say for example metformin, again it's absolutely possible to come out of the drugs for diabetes, etc. But say for example, if somebody is 80, already the pancreas is completely worn out, and they are on full dose of short acting and long acting insulins morning, afternoon, evening, etc., etc., overzealously expecting them that the meditation will reset the whole pancreas and make them youthful and make them free of insulin is really, really impossible. We can think like it's like expecting the car's engine to be changed. But the meditation, since it tweaks the frequency to such a low level like theta or even delta, that gives so much of abundance of biomagnetism and stimulation of the stem cells, and that can regenerate the pancreas to a certain extent. But to what extent that regeneration will happen, what extent the youthfulness will be replenished, depends upon how early they start, how bad the state when they are starting, how much hours they can dedicate for meditation, how deep they can go for meditation. They all should be matched. That's why the prescription of meditation is not the same for everyone. It has its own values on individuals. For a short answer for your question is absolutely possible, but it depends upon where we start. I can have the next question.
Yes, thank you so much. And the other question, and other arise other question also, but the other question was is one person get good samadhi and is in delta? Is the person is alone because no always is one person can help, and then how prevents or how to be sure is the to get go inside to meditation without the risk to get meditation to get samadhi forever. No, what to manage this, because in delta maybe is completely is not possible to manage or and want to remain in delta only, no? And then I want to know how to manage this and come back easily.
Yeah.
That next question.
Yeah, my answer for that is number one, most of us, fortunately or unfortunately, don't even need to bother about delta because it is samadhi. The word is very, very self-explanatory. And I don't want to specifically say to a single person, but in general, for somebody to reach samadhi, it takes years and years of hours and hours of meditative practice. And those who are practicing on their own in their home, possibly you may be living on your own. That's why your question is very important for you. It's only possible to comfortably reach theta stage, as I said. By chance, if you are doing hours and hours of meditation for weeks and months, and in a year or two, you feel as if that, oh my goodness, I just sat for maybe a 30 minutes meditation, and when I wake up, it's almost like the evening, and I've spent 4 hours in it. So did I really reach delta? Did I went for samadhi? And when you wake up, you will feel so much refreshed. The refreshness what we get from 1 hour of a proper meditation is equivalent to 8 hours of sleep. And if you're really confident of reaching that stage, I will strongly advise not to meditate on your own. There are 2 explanations to that. One, don't meditate on your own. Try to go for a meditative center or a church or a temple or somewhere, so that if you're sitting more than few hours in a corner, people will start noticing you and they will wake you up. That is one way. The other way is, by the time you will know what is life, by the time you will know what you want to live, by the time you will know the whole meaning of life, how it happens. So by chance, if you're sitting in a room and then getting into samadhi, and if you end up in samadhi for days and days and weeks, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. By the time you will know that is more important than anything in the life. And there is a very big Siddhar heritage in Tamil Nadu, where people in their age of 80 or even 100 or 120, once they finish that, they have done all the karmas of the life, they will just go for samadhi. which is the last run, and that's it. So you may be so confident to accept it if you are getting used to samadhi, and that's one of the I won't say it's one of the best way to leave this world. I will say that is the only best way to leave this world. But that topic is quite higher, and I don't think any of the people in this group will be interested about that.
Yes, yeah, we don't want to deviate towards that. Yeah, thanks so much. All.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Anyone else have any other thoughts? Rajamohanaya, anything you wanted to add? Yeah.
I was, but I forgot the other question. I forgot. Then maybe afterwards. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Julia. Rajamohanaya. Anyone else has any thoughts on this? We started from sexual vital fluid to get into the place where the genetic center and the imprint, some questions came. I wanted to continue that thing. Rajamohanaya, anything you wanted to add? Any corrections?
No question. Anna has explained very nicely in detail. No more questions on the subject. Why her over there?
Anyone else has any other questions related to this topic? We can check with the next meeting with the Dr. Miraya. If you have any other questions comes this analysis, group analysis, we can come up with more questions so that we can discuss when Aya is here. Dr. Miraya, next week.
Just one question. So just I wanted to confirm. So the genetic center is in all the cells. It's not only at the base of the spinal cord, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
But Aya said, Raja Mohanaya said, in the genetic center itself, we have the region or region. Is it correct, Raja Mohanaya?
That is the more intensified area. We call it as intensified magnetic domain at the genetic center. It is at the end of the spinal cord, but that is not allowed the center. In every cell there is a center is there, no? Where the absolute space is there. So all cells are having this centers. All the atoms are also having a center where the absolute space is there. So all are interconnected. Wherever the absolute space or black hole is there, all are interconnected. In the stars or planets, everything, no? The center point where the absolute space, there is no motion at all. So that point is the consciousness, absolute space, all are interconnected. So in the physical body, we have three bodies: physical body, astral body, and causal body. And all the three they have one central point, an integrated central point at the genetic center. Last week we made the animation also, no? From the end of the spinal cord. From there only all circulation comes with different movement of the life force particles or biomagnetism are represented. So once genetic center and the spinal cord is there. In each cells also there, everything. The India universal magnetism also, it is also there. So everywhere is there, and maximum is at the genetic center. Now we call it as Muladhara. And regarding the normal philosophical term, we call it as soul. So Maharishi is used in genetic center instead of soul. Earlier soul, they represents life force particles. In all his speech also you can say life force is also, we call it as the soul. And later on, the soul or recorded information is called soul now, where the data is stored. So that area alone is called soul. So there may be some other area, only pure biomagnetism, but it is imprints are not there. So where the imprints are there, that is called soul. So difference imprints are there, is not there. The two differences are there. So
Yes, yeah, you are correct. Yeah, the soul, as you said, the genetic center is the soul where the imprints are. Yeah, absolutely correct. Thank you so much for bringing that.
Quite all of that.
Aya, please continue. Yeah, I don't want to stop.
Okay. For general public, normally they ask something. What is genetic center? See, in a living being, there are 8 factors are there. Maharishi used to say, no. Physical body, life force, biomagnetism, then genetic center, then soul, mind, and senses. All the 8 factors are there. So, what is genetic center and what is soul? Why there are 2 things are there? When we ask, genetic center is the location. Location in the body, middle of the physical body. And the soul is the recorded information. So that two different things. See, for example, how this can be explained to the normal people. See, just an example. Suppose this shop is there where we purchase the dresses and all these things. If we ask where is Pothis or a Chennai Silks, we say some street name, where you can go on to purchase. There may be Chennai Silk also there, Pothis also there, and Town Hall Road or something like that you can say. So genetic center is saying Town Hall Road. And in the Town Hall Road, and the middle of the road, there is a Chennai Silks or Pothis. So where all the dress materials are stored, not on the Town Hall Road, it is in the Pothis shop. So like that, the soul is refers to the Pothis shop, and Town Hall Road refers to the genetic center. So this is the simple explanation for the common people. This is my understanding. What are that?
So that soul is a single entity which can have all the type of frequencies.
Yes. All the recorded information. Soul is different. It is similar to Pothis shop or a Chennai Silk shop where dress materials are stored in racks. And the Town Hall Road or the street is called genetic center, location. In the town, in the particular street only, these shops are there, you know. So genetic center refers to the location, and soul is where all informations are stored completely. So to differentiate soul and genetic center, because in genetic center we say center for life force particles, center for biomagnetism or divine dust particles. So the other two are also there. Then center for seed. So that is also there. So additional information. So soul is imprints. This is my understanding. Or this can be corrected also. Walter over there.
Yes, I am. We are just thinking. It's we need to think deeply. This subject is. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay.
So soul can be traveled with different generations.
Yes. So this is recorded information. It is in the genes also it is recorded in detail. So it is the imprints are transferred to the life force particles. First, initially it is recorded in the biomagnetism, and life force particles also having many divine dust particles. So the divine dust particles will have imprints also there, the knots. So life force particles are also having the imprints. Then the life force particles, association of life force particles only in atoms. Then it becomes a gene. So in the genes also it is recorded. All your personality is completely recorded there. No? So it is transferred to the next to your children. So like that it goes on. The soul is.
So the imprints will be in all the cells. The imprints will be in all the cells, not only at the genetic centers. So that can be transformed to the children.
Right.
But the soul is the entity who is separate for the every individual. Am I right? Soul cannot be transformed to other.
The soul is the total imprints. Whole imprints. Where the first the imprints can be recording can be done only in magnetism. That is scientifically we understand, no? In science. See, in the hard disk or in the chip, we see only in the magnetism we record all our information. See our phone numbers, names, all these things in the chip, no? That is where magnetism is there. So recording can be done only in magnetism. So the magnetism we refer to the divine dust particles. So divine dust particles, association of divine dust particles is called the life force particles. So naturally in the life force particles also imprints are there now. And the life force, association of life force particles becomes an element. So in the element of them, all genes also made up of elements. So everywhere the cells are made up of elements. So in the cell also it is there. Inside the cell there is a divine dust particles. So the divine dust particles carry the information, imprints. So everywhere it is there. Where it is more informations are intensified is at the genetic center at the end of the spinal cord, in the body, physical body, middle of the physical body. So that is the idea, but everywhere it is there. Maximum is at the spinal cord end. That's why they call it as Muladhara. So there only the life force center is there. Through meditation, we are bringing the life force center to the Agna Chakra, to the eyebrow centers. So the intensification, we are moving that center to the Agna and Durya. So center is shifted to the new location in the meditation. So recording only in the magnetism. That is the logic, basic logic. Divine dust particles are everywhere. வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன் ஐயா. So as my understanding now is like every body cell has the genetic center, like every life force particles or energy particles. So which has this life force, which has limited amount of genetic center with the delta region, but still with the spinning, it is trying to reach towards the axis to the original or dormant genetic center, which is at the Mooladhara. Every cell also has the connectivity to the Mooladhara, or genetic center, the intensified genetic center. And the soul, as once the children formed, the soul also will transform to that level of what the intensity has, the imprints of intensity has. But still the soul is the independent entity which can grow on top of that. So children is the time, particular period of time. After that, they are separate. They have their own imprints. But still the individual person's soul will add on top of that. So it will grow as its own imprints with its own level of characterization. Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you are saying whatever is, yeah, it's bringing more thoughtful towards more thoughts. Yeah, very good. Yeah, thank you so much. Anyone else? As everybody is quiet.
One more point. See, Maharishi used to say the center of sexual vital fluid only produces divine dust particles and life force particles. So initially, the sexual vital fluid is from the bone marrow. So bone marrow is at the brain at the top of the head. So sexual vital fluid is produced in the head actually. So up to the 12 years in a child, the bone marrow produces the 7th dhatu as a sexual vital fluid, and the 7th dhatu sexual vital fluid produces divine dust particles and life force particles. So more number of divine dust particles and more number of life force particles are located in the head and the brain up to the 12 years. So after 12 years only, the sexual vital fluid is used to the growth of the child to say up to 5.5 feet height. The child grows to an adult level. No? So afterwards, the amount of sexual vital fluid becomes excess. Then it comes down through the spinal cord at the bottom of the spinal cord end. So the center of the life force particles and center of the divine dust particle has shifted from the head to the Mooladhara or the spinal cord after 12 years. So afterwards, from 12 years to up to the end of up to the death, in the center is at the spinal cord end. So where more number of divine dust particles, more number of life force particles are located at the spinal cord end. So genetic center for the children is at the head. After 12 years, it is at the location of the spinal cord end. I think now This is what Maharishi says. What all of that?
Yes, yeah, fantastic. Yeah, great explanation. How the bone marrow is become the brain. That's the missing gap. People will confuse with how it is getting into the center where in the brain, how it is that life force particles are sorry, the sexual vital fluid forming in the brain. That is the connectivity. The bone marrow is the brain.
Right.
You brought that into very clarity.
What all of that?
Anyone else ask any questions? Everybody is silent. Any comments, thoughts? If no other thought, shall we conclude today's session? Ayya Raja Mohanaya, anything else you wanted to clarify? So we started from sexual vital fluid, went to the genetic center, get into imprints, again back to the brain, where the center has to be moved to the brain marrow. Yeah, sorry, bone marrow. So you just it's a very good circle that we just made and came back. Excellent.
Okay.
Sorry, actually, I'm confused. So bone marrow. Actually, the bone marrow is the center of the bone. It's in center of the bone, right? How it is related?
Also, the brain. Brain also made up of same thing. That connectivity, if we are missing, we won't get that center. How the sexual vital fluid is secretion is happening on the brain, because the bone marrow and the brain will be same. That's what I brought that point nicely.
The quantity of bone marrow is more in the brain. All the bones have marrows. Say in fingers, bone is there. Everywhere bones are there. And bone marrow is there. But more quantity of bone marrow is available only in the brain. So there only the sexual vital fluid is produced.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I think we have a physician in the group, Doctor. I think Anand, or can you clarify on this about this bone marrow being more dense or more available in the skull?
Yes, I can. I have a principle. I will answer only if I am asked. Okay, so that's why I'm staying quiet. Okay, so sometimes if there is a discussion happening, by chance, if it is not ticking with the scientific principles or something, also it is my principle to stay quiet, because we have to behave according to the forum. It's very, very important. I have an understanding on this concept, but my understanding will slightly take it away. My understanding is absolutely scientific. I am a doctor, I am a super specialist, so I can't deviate from the science what is happening in 2024. But it will take slightly a different angle of view. This forum can be taken by two ways. One, we can just take it as this life force, this sexual vital fluid, this is what is the final word, and we can discuss it, enjoy it, put it in the practice, and achieve very, very good results. There is no doubt in it. But if somebody wants the real science, I'm quite happy to spell it out, but it will deviate slightly from this forum's concept. So I will wait for Vijayalakshmi Amma's approval if they want to go slightly out.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, absolutely fine. The previous question was, I said because of deviating, because the meditation, if you are, doing alone, so it's kind of scary for some people. So we don't want to deviate more towards it. That's what I told. So if it is related to the subject, of course, yes, you can deviate and make more explanation on that.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. And I am closely associated with Maharishi Ayya even when he was live, and I was a personal physician to him in the last few years. And as Rajmohan Ayya said, I completely accept every word what he said because that is what exactly Maharishi has explained. But as the others have asked, how to correlate it scientifically because science is growing in its own angle. I'm not saying science angle is correct, but it's growing in its own angle. So if somebody has to bridge the science and spirituality, number one, is it possible? My answer is yes, it's possible. Number two, can we put both into the same basket? Yes, you can put it into the same basket, but still there will be different layers in the basket. It won't mix like a milk mixing with a water. That's what we need to understand. In my personal life, when I mixed my scientific understandings with what Maharishi is teaching, which is what Rajmohan Ayya and MVR Ayya are giving us, it absolutely matched and it helped me a lot. So I have no problem in sharing, but I'm quite happy to be stopped at any time because I need to speak only within the boundaries of the particular forum. Okay, that's very important for me. So, how I understood the exact things what Rajmohan Haya explained is for a child, when a child is born and then growing like 1 year, 2 year, 10 year, 14 year, 20 years, etc., approximately we take a cutoff of 14 years for both men and women. For boys, it's up like 16 years. For women, it can be as low as even 13 years. So that's where the sexual maturity happens. So in essence, once that's the sexual maturity in a woman, we can easily identify because of the starting of the menstrual cycle. We'll call it as a menarche. While for a man, it's breakdown of the vocal cords, voice box, and then mustache and beard, etc., etc. That's quite easy to understand. So till that point, one of the most important organ in their body is the bone marrow, because we know that bone marrow is the one which produces the red blood corpuscles, white blood corpuscles, and various immune related things, etc. And when an organ is growing, and we need to understand that after that menarche happens or the sexual maturity happens in a boy and a girl approximately the age of 14 or 15, the growth almost stops. Because the men have the testosterone surge, they will have another final push in their height, and maybe the height will be happening till the age of 19. And most commonly for any man or woman, whatever the height they reach at the age of 21 or 22 is going to stay throughout the life. Say for example, let us take the liver is say 1 kg for a man like 40-year-old or 50-year-old. We know that the weight of the liver difference between every human being, and also there is a difference between a man and a woman, but let us take it out and take an average weight of a liver as 1 kg. So the liver attains that 1 kg at the age of 20 to 22 itself. And after that, it is only just replenishing the liver and removing the old hepatocytes, which means liver cells, and replenishing with the new cells. That's it. We can easily understand that growing something is difficult or will require more raw materials or energy compared to maintaining something. If you are driving a car from zero stationary, you have to speed up say up to 60 miles per hour, and then you are driving for next 3 hours in the 60 miles per hour. The amount of energy spent by your car every minute from the time you start at zero speed and reach 60 miles per hour, which we call it as acceleration, is tremendous compared to your driving at 60 miles an hour for the next 3 hours on and on and on. In fact, the modern cars, the energy expenditure happens only during the acceleration, and during the constant cruise control speed of 60 miles an hour, the energy expended is absolutely zero except for a very small fraction due to the friction between the tire and the tarmac. Similarly, in a man and a woman, till they grow, say up to 20, 21, where they reach the maximum height, weight, etc. Weight, of course, can grow high and low in the 30s and 40s and 50s also. So the liver reaches the maximum size and then it's only maintenance, just like a car's cruise control. So till they reach the absolute growth phase, the maximum growth phase, bone marrow forms very, very important role of producing the RBCs, WCCs, etc., etc. That's why Maharishi says during the young age, bone marrow forms the most important part of producing this life energy, sexual vital fluid, etc., etc. All these nomenclatures, we need to understand the actual crux of it. And don't take that it is something to do with the sex or something like that. It is more to do with vitality and fluidity. Vitality is the one which keeps a person to grow. Fluidity, because it has its own fluidness, because the energy flows from head to toe and vice versa. And once the bone marrow guided growth happens, and once a boy and a girl at the age of 14 and maybe heading towards 20, once the growth stops, then Maharishi explains that the sexual vital fluid comes down from the brain down to the Muladhara. How I understand it, how I applied in my life is the brain indirectly, what Maharishi mentions is the hypophyseal pituitary system. So hypophysis, which is the organ above the pituitary, produces the gonadotropic hormones, and then the pituitary produces the hormones like LDH and FSH, luteinizing hormone, etc. And that stimulus as an endocrine hormone stimulates the gonads, testes in a man and ovaries in a woman. And if there is a overfunctioning of the testes producing more testosterone, it works as a feedback negative loop to reduce the LH-FSH secretion from the pituitary. So it creates its own loop of self-control. So this is what happens after the age of 14. And once this happens, ovary testes matures to adult level, say at the age of 20, 21, and a male and female, when they have an appropriate sexual act, can produce another child. So my understanding, if we have to paint what Maharishi said with science, the bone marrow is the one which helps in the growth of a child till they reach their adulthood. And after adulthood, the brain forms an important part, and the sexual vital fluid or the vitality comes down from there to Muladhara, which indirectly means the ovaries and testes. And scientifically, we can label it with LH and FSH hormones. And then the Muladhara is the one, because of the fluidity and vitality from the brain, gives a man to have an interest in the woman and vice versa. And that's why the sexually oriented love happens. I'm saying that because a father may have love on a daughter and a son. So a sexually oriented love happens because of this Muladhara related sexual organs, which results in attraction. And even if it's not happening, the elders will make sure a man and a woman getting married at one point, which we call it as arranged marriage in India. And then they will start another child. The child will again depend upon the bone marrow till they grow in the age of 14. The cycle repeats. This is how I can explain scientifically. Varganamadan.
Prasadaya.
Oh, God. Yeah, thank you. So, I mean, we needed some, I was just taking the benefit of his presence here to get a link to what we know from Vedatrium and to understand the medical facts of it. I just was also curious because Rajmohan Iyer was stating that, the density of bone is maximum in the skull, especially up to the age of 14. And then, when that happens, and I think Dr. Anand, please, I'm sorry if I don't use doctor and all that, forgive me. For me, in this forum, those things don't matter. I just go with, I consider you as a erythroid or a life force particle.
Absolutely, so, no problem with that. Anybody can call me Ananda, that's my first name. I'm quite happy with that.
So in that context, I was trying to understand because to be honest, a couple of years ago, I was totally confused about this. And that is when I was troubling Rabindranath Iyer in many ways, either calling him or talking to him and so on. And this Uir Forum has given a lot more clarity in that. So thank you for coordinating this. So yeah, the question I had was, so the density of bone after the age of 14 is the maximum in the skull up to the age of 14. I just want to make sure that part is correct. I mean, I'm not the right person, so that is why I was relating it to Anandaya.
No, scientifically speaking, the density of the bone in the skull and all, we can't talk in a scientific forum. So indirectly, what Maharishi is trying to say this is, the main thing which leads into the growth phase is from the bone marrow, and once a boy or a girl completes the growth phase, then the maximum inputs are from the brain. It's not really the skull. Skull has nothing to do. Skull is just helping safe covering of the brain. That's it. So there is nothing to do with the skull, and the brain helps by, as I said, hypophyseal pituitary system, and that axis helps in the growth of the organs like Muladhara means testis and ovary. If we are taking something like Manipuraga means like adrenal cortex, and like that we can link so many organs and so many chakras with this hypophyseal pituitary system.
Well, I think that sums it up nicely. I think it's a good time to take a break, ma.
Thank you so much.
Sorry,
Yes, Chili. Please continue.
no, related with this, I have a doubt now, because grease matter grease in the brain, is the marrow bone or is different? I don't know if I tell clear in English.
Yeah, I think we can have this question in next session, as
Okay.
Raja Mohanaya
Okay.
told that bone marrow is become the brain, and we will continue this discussion next week.
Okay, thank you.
William. Thank you so much for the wonderful question. We'll start for next week.